How are you doing, ladies? How are you, Besma? How are you, Julia? Ladies, you have completed your first ever liver cleanse, and I know, it's really, really hard. I've done it. I do it at least twice a year, like twice a year full on. Here's Aya. Hi, Aya. Twice a year full on, exactly what you've done. And the rest of the year, this is actually just how I eat all the time with the addition of coffee. So I'm not expecting you to do that. I've just realized that it's just how I feel best. So right now, currently in my life, that's what I do. Lemon water, celery juice, smoothie, coffee, all the veggies at lunch. And then sometimes what I'll do is just a salad without the cooked veggies at lunch. And then I'll do the veggies at dinner, sometimes with protein, sometimes without. So I figured this out for myself. I know that this is how it's just what continues to make me feel good. It is what continues to keep me symptom free. So that's when I do it. If I add in red meat, I get a night sweat that night, like clockwork. On the weekends, if we go out and we have, and my regular weekend outings, because some of you were asking, the regular things I eat on the weekend are Indian food. I love Indian food and Lebanese food. So when I go have Indian, I will have sometimes the chicken tikka or the fish tikka, and they have this they have a cauliflower and potato dish, which I love, and that's what I always have. Sometimes I have the rice. On the days I have the rice, I wake up with a nice sweat. When I go and have Lebanese, it's only ever shish taouk and hummus. I don't think my body likes hummus too much, or I haven't really been able to figure out. Some days I can go and have it and I'm perfectly fine. Other days I have it and then that night I have a nice sweat. My regular outings are not pizza and junk and burgers. They're not. And again, this has taken me time. So I'm not saying this is where you need to be right now. I'm just trying to answer some of your questions about sort of like, what does my future look like? So, and the reason I do that, and there's a learning curve. Like when I first started doing this, no, my weekends were burgers and pizza, and I would eat fine during the weekend because I was still in that diet mentality also, right? It takes time to come out of that. It takes time. It's deeply embedded programming. I was in the diet culture mentality for 20 years. So we're talking about reversing 20 years of a certain way of thinking. And for me, that was if I'm good all week long, then I get to do whatever I want. I get a reward on the weekend. That's typical diet mentality, diet culture mentality. And I stayed in that even after I became a health coach. It was still there. The remnants of it were still there, especially when I became a health coach and I realized that I was even eating even better than my dieting days, right? So I was like, well, you know what? If I'm having juices all week long and I'm having smoothies all week long and I'm not eating, because in my dieting days, you would get a little bit of bread, right? Like the traditional diets, like one little piece of bread, a little bit of rice, a little bit of whatever. But when you learn how to eat to heal, there's no gluten, there's no dairy, there's nothing. So in my mind, I was like, well, I'm even at another level now. So definitely I get an even bigger reward at the weekend. So I would go in on the weekends. It was give me all the stuff that I am, again, diet culture mentality, deprived of during the week. So if that's where you're at right now, you're exactly where you should be. It takes time to transition and evolve where those little remnants of that way of thinking disappear completely. It doesn't happen overnight and it doesn't happen without intention. So at some point, if you find yourself, all right, I'm going to follow whichever, whether it's the 9-day plan, whether it's the hybrid cleanse, whether it's a clean eating. Here's how I see myself doing this. I'm going to do it. And then on the weekends, I get to eat whatever you want. If that's where you are right now, fine. Because I want you to go through that experiment. And the only way through this is you have to go through it in order to get out on the other side. You're going to go through it. You're going to see how it's going to make you feel to have, I don't know what it is for you, pizza, burgers, pane, macarona bechamel, like whatever it is that you feel like having on the weekends or you're used to having on the weekends, go and do it. And I want you to see how it's going to make you feel over time. If you've started to reverse some of your symptoms, you're going to, I guarantee it, see those symptoms come back. That's just how it works. And that's what's going to motivate you to change your thinking. And it's what's going to bring your attention to, right? Like it's going to bring your awareness around to how this is different than dieting. And it's wanting to stay feeling good. Like I have no other way of really expressing it. That I just want to stay feeling good. Like I just want to stay symptom free. That keeps you going. It's the thing that keeps you going. Like when I was in Italy for 5 weeks and I did not eat my way through Italy. It wasn't because I have willpower. It wasn't because I'm special. It wasn't because I had to like fight it every single day. On the contrary, it was because no, I feel good. I don't have symptoms. And I'm always thinking about my future self. Always thinking about my future self. God willing, we get 20, 30 years left in our lives. How do I want to live those 20, 30 years? You get to decide that now. Well, having pasta once in Italy ruin everything I've done? No, that's why I had pasta once in Italy. That's why I had a pizza once in Italy. That's why I had once a full dairy scoop of ice cream. The rest of the time I didn't. And it felt nice. It felt amazing to be able to walk and have the energy and to feel good and not feel tired and not have any symptoms. So you get to choose. Right now, you've gotten the tools. Right now, you're starting to understand why certain foods work against you and create disease and why certain foods don't. You're always going to have the choice. It's always going to be in your power to make a decision either way. So I want you to remind yourself of that. It's not the food that's controlling you anymore. Might a little bit still right now, but eventually when and if you decide to have whatever it is you want to eat, burger, pizza, pane, bechamel, desserts, it's going to be because you have made the decision. You know what? I want to have this today. Not because you felt weak, not because everybody around you is pressuring you, not because you felt like you're so tired and so cranky and you feel so horrible and you feel so moody and need a reward. Those are the things that we're slowly trying to get ourselves out of. It's conscious. I'm consciously choosing my celery juice today because I want to feel good. I'm consciously also choosing this pizza today because I feel like it. And because I know my body, I've built up my body so well, and I have regenerated my liver and my digestive system so well that when and if I decide to have a pizza or a burger, it's no biggie. I pick up the next day and keep going. So take stock of where you are right now, which one of these thought processes is the one that's going on through your head, and share it with us on the group, because sometimes just when you say it out loud or when you write it down, you might surprise yourself by where you're at, by what you're actually thinking. And it's a way of holding yourself accountable for how you want to move forward. And what we're doing basically from now on through level 2 is nothing more than implementation. We're going to do an advanced cleanse in level 2. Don't even think about that right now. Right now, you're just working on being consistent and recognizing where the triggers might come up for you that might want to throw you off, or throw you back to your old programming. That's supposed to happen. It's part of the process. It doesn't mean you're going to derail all of your efforts. On the contrary, every single time you eat is an experiment. You're going to take note. How did this make me feel? Where did I feel it in my body? How did it make me feel physically? Did it trigger one of my other symptoms? Has it brought me back to what I used to feel before? It's all information. Every single time you eat, there's no good, there's no bad. It's information. It's an experiment, and it's all data. So what you're doing now is you're going to choose how to move forward. The 9-day cleanse, every one of your choices, you're still cleansing, you're still detoxing, whether it's the 9-day or the hybrid or the clean eating, you're still cleansing. We are not going to reintroduce, like there is no part of this plan where we reintroduce the inflammatory foods on a regular basis. No, that's not part of the plan. Wheat, dairy, sugar, processed foods, the whole list, right, with the exception of animal protein and nuts and caffeine, if you want it, all of that list is out. These are the foods that create disease. We're not going to intentionally bring them back into a plan. What we're going to do is decide, how do you want to continue detoxing? Because it is about a detox lifestyle. It's not about doing something for 9 days and then you're done and then you're finished. I met a friend of mine and a lady who had done one of my programs like 5 years ago when I was in Guna, and we were sitting down. Where were we? Oh, we were in the wellness festival, and they had these, different sort of food vendors, and I was getting a salad from one of them. And she was telling me how she had just restarted. She had gone back to being gluten-free and dairy-free just 4 days ago. And she was feeling a little bit nervous because she didn't know what to eat here. So I was like, here, there's this great salad that this one place makes. You can have this salad. And she was like, oh, I don't know salad, but maybe, what, the sandwiches look really tempting and I don't know what. And it's like, it's not up to me, like, to tell her what to do. And I'm like, I forget how the conversation went, but she's like, wait a minute. So you don't eat bread or cheese ever? And I'm like, no, I mean, not ever, like I'll have it a few times a year. She's like, no, but I mean like regularly. She's like, wait a minute, I thought you just do your detox for a month, but then you go back and you eat all of the food. I said, no, that's not how detoxing works. If you do that, you're going to just retox, right? You're going to bring everything back. So if at any point you thought that this was a process that is limited to the 9 days or limited to the time we have together in the hormone reset, and then you're going to go back, I apologize for the miscommunication, right? It's not. I mean, you're free to do whatever you want to do, but to heal, this is an ongoing process. So the foods that create inflammation, the foods that create disease, you know that now. So unless you are okay with potentially breeding any kind of symptoms or disease inside you in the future, it's all up to God. Yes, but God also gave us brains. So unless you're okay with that, no, you're not going to bring these foods back. These aren't foods. They're not foods. So what we're doing now from now on and in level 2 continuously is tweaking the process, right? Tweaking what you're doing. Are you going to backtrack a few steps? 100%. Like I said, that's part of the process. It doesn't mean you've undone everything. Undoing everything would be, you know what? No, I'm going to go back and have a piece of bread every single day. No, you know what? I'm going to go back and have my Greek yogurt every single night. No, you know what? I'm going to go back and have, pasta 3 times a week. That's derailing it, right? It's not easy to wrap your mind around the fact that foods that you've eaten your entire life, and this was the case for all of us. And I'm never saying you're never going to have them again. You also get to make that choice, though. If you decide, I never want to have these again, that's also your choice. I'm saying they can't be part of your normal routine. I'm saying you can't heal when these foods, if these foods come back on a regular basis. So what you're choosing right now, basically between the 3 plans, is the intensity at which you prefer to continue. So the 9-day detox is the deepest of the 3, the deepest process. It is the hardest. It's the most intense cleansing. Is it the most intense in terms of how intensely can you detox? No. I've given you something that is sort of in between. You can do, if you want to take it up a notch, and this wasn't one of your options, but if one of you wants to take it up a notch instead of down a notch, you can just live on fruits for the next month. Fruits and fruits only. So not even celery juice. Like, you can just wake up and have the lemon water and then literally for the whole day have nothing but fruits and fruits and fruits and fruits and fruits and fruits. That is very, very, very deep healing, very, very deep detoxing. The only thing more deep than that would be a water fast where you eat nothing. So I didn't give you that as an option. But if you want to, that is an option. So the 9-day detox is deep and intense and fast. You don't want to go that deep. You don't want to go that fast. You want to go that intense. Then the hybrid cleanse is what you would choose. You want to slow it down even more, then you follow the clean eating guide. Whichever one you choose, you're still cleansing and you're still detoxing. Whichever one you choose, I'm still going to ask you to keep your morning routine the same. So obviously, if you're doing the 9 days, the morning routine is there. If you're doing the hybrid actually increases the amount of lemon water and celery juice in the morning. And if you're going to do the clean eating, then you can choose if you want to keep the original quantities of the lemon water and celery juice or the increased quantities in the hybrid, but always, always, always maintain that morning routine for your liver. Because even on the day that you decide to go have pizza or, whatever, paneer or whatever it is, that morning routine is going to buffer you. It's going to buffer what might happen later on the weekend, for example. So, and they're interchangeable. So you, like I said at the very beginning of this, you really can't do this wrong unless you bring in the bread, unless you bring in the cheese, unless you bring in the processed food, unless you bring in the junk, unless you go back to any old pattern that you had before that wasn't serving you, then you can't do this wrong. You can't do this wrong. Ideally, I say stick to the morning routine because it's a very healing combination. So the lemon and the celery and the berry smoothie specifically have very healing qualities. So if you are still feeling strong symptoms, if you are somebody who's diagnosed perhaps with a medical condition, you want to keep either the 9 days or the hybrid cleanse, and you want to keep them on repeat. And definitely you want to keep the berry smoothie. So even if you are starting to feel better, but you have some lingering symptoms and you want to move on to clean eating, keep the berry smoothie, because the berry smoothie it's targeted. So the way that the different ingredients in it are very targeted to release heavy metals and release toxicity from your liver. If you get bored, which is natural, you will swap it out for another smoothie for a little bit and then bring it back in. All right. This week, this module, we are moving on to exercise. Exercise is not something we could have done while your body was deep in detox, because when you're deep in detox, it takes energy. And many of you notice that it actually, you feel tired. It takes energy away from you. Again, perfectly normal. So we didn't want to add to that. We don't want to add it's a stress. If you're working out when the body's already focused on doing something else, that's a stress. If you're feeling fine now, your energies come back, and you over exercise in general, that's going to stress your hormones out in general. So I see this in a lot of women when they hit perimenopause and menopause and their weight just stagnates and they don't know what to do anymore. They feel like, right, let me eat less and exercise more, which is the perfect combination for a hormonal mess, because you lower your intake of calories, and usually the calories you were taking in were probably not the optimal ones anyway. And then you push your body too far with too much exercise, which leads to an increase in cortisol level. Cortisol is your stress hormone. So what this module is all about is sort of walking you through how to implement exercise moving on. At our age, and this is not to say that there's anything wrong with our age, just where we're at right now requires a different type of exercise. Exercise is incredibly important. It's not about not exercising. It is about moving your body and moving your body every single day. But if you're somebody who used to do CrossFit or HIIT workouts or high intensity aerobics, this is not the time for that anymore. There's a way to make sure that you're moving your body and a way to make sure that you are keeping your muscles strong. It's so key to keep our muscles toned and strong as we get older without doing the heavy duty exercise. And I outlined that for you. And on Wednesday, we actually have a yoga instructor who is specialized in, I guess she's going to explain it to you. I guess it's hormonal yoga, or yoga that is targeting balancing hormones. She's going to come in and do a class with us on Wednesday. And I included my favorite workout, which I've been doing for years, which is the Tracy Anderson method. And I love it because she works the whole body, tones every single part of your body without stressing your joints, without raising your cortisol levels, basically without stressing you out. It's not to say that it's an easy workout by any means, but it's just the right amount. It's not too long, it's not too short, and it hits the spot. I've shared the links in the module, and I've also shared the links in the group. I think Besma, you had asked me for that. So I shared the links in the group also. All this to say is that you are learning, and the information I give you in the module is just to empower you. Like I didn't have to teach you anything else in this module. I didn't really have to teach you anything besides the food plan in order for you to get the results. But part of moving out of the diet culture mentality is empowering yourself with knowledge, because whenever you follow a diet, all you ever do is just follow a meal plan, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're not necessarily understanding the why or the how or anything about it. So it's so key for you, as part of empowering yourself, as part of how you're going to take back control of your health, is to understand, like, I have this body, it's got these organs, and this is what they do. It's so important for you to know and to understand at the most basic level, because then even if you go to a doctor, hopefully not, and he starts to say things to you, then you know what he's referring to. You're not just sort of listening, kind of like, okay, agreeing, and you have no idea what this person is telling you about your body. So the information in there is not to confuse you, it's to empower you. Let me know if you have any questions, ladies. Let me see. Hi, Rania. Love the shift in your relationship with food. This has made a huge impact on my learning and understanding my own relationship with food. Yeah, we're all the same way that we're all sort of programmed physically, like we all have the same basic functions, and we all have the same wiring for why our body goes, starts to malfunction. It's the same thing with our emotional wiring as well. Like we have the same, we all, believe it or not, have the same instincts and the same drives. And if we've been in the same culture and been brought up pretty much in the same way, we all have the same ideas in our heads. So it is about accepting, acknowledging, be thankful for whatever life lessons you had up until now, because everything is important. Even if it wasn't necessarily the thing that served you in the best way, it was so key to getting you to where you are now, to where you realize you need to do something differently. So always acknowledge and appreciate your journey, and then look to the future. Anybody have any questions for me about this module? So we have module 4 is the last module in level 1, ladies. So congratulations, first of all, on reaching module 4. So we'll have one more video next week. And then on December 5th, let me just have the calendar in front of me. Or December 6th, which is the Monday, we'll have the face yoga instructor come in, and then we'll have one more celebratory video after that, and that'll be the end of level 1. We'll take a break for the holidays, for Christmas, New Year's, and we'll come back with level 2 on January 9th. And I'll put all the links to sign up for level 2 in the next couple of weeks. Rania, how long will the yoga class be on Wednesday? I'm guessing an hour. I told her usually we're between 30 minutes and an hour. I can find out from her exactly and let you know. Aya, I lost weight with the 9 days detox. Now what shall I do to continue lose weight? I have PCOS and I'm overweight. So Aya, I'm going to invite you to focus in on your symptoms and your PCOS first. Okay, so where are your PCOS symptoms, right? Like besides the weight, okay, how have your PCOS symptoms subsided or reversed or not? If they haven't, continue repeating the 9 days. You will, 1, continue to lose weight, but more importantly, you will continue to do the inner work that's going to lead to healing your PCOS so that you don't have any symptoms. So I need you to keep track of the symptoms first. Now that you're losing weight, it's going to happen, right? And even with the weight loss though, don't be surprised if it hits a plateau. Very normal, because what happens is the body will dig into the liver specifically, remove toxins, keep removing, and then sort of stagnate a little bit, then dig deeper into a deeper layer, and then bring them all to the surface and remove. So it's sort of like an up and down. All right. And that's why we have to bring in exercise also at this point. Exercise is key, not just for weight loss, but for your liver health and for balancing your hormones. So I want you to make a list of all your PCOS symptoms, Aya, and keep track of those. That's what healing means. So diet mentality, you're just keeping track of your weight, right? That's when we're on a diet. That's what we do. The only sign of progress is the number on a scale. When you're healing, you got to look at all the symptoms, right? What are the symptoms that are still there? What are the ones that have subsided? What are the ones that have disappeared? So healing means you need to look at your symptoms, and that needs to be your focus, because as long as you have lingering symptoms and as long as you have a diagnosed condition, weight loss, the body's always going to prioritize what's more important, and that is to heal. So weight loss might take a back seat until you get the healing and the body knows, the body's super smart. So you need to get your priorities straight. You need to get your mental focus on healing and make sure that you're checking your symptoms daily instead of the scale. I don't know if that's what you were doing, but just in case. Anybody else, ladies? I also, now that you've gone through the liver detox, I want you to share with us this week, next week, where you are on your goal. Remember that goal that we talked about in the first couple of weeks and in module 1? I want you to share with us. Remember, the goal wasn't that you actually act on this goal, or you actually complete this goal. The whole point of that exercise was to have you be able to see your life differently, to see the potential. So maybe some of you have taken action, whether it was signing up for a course, whether it was implementing certain things into your daily routine. Share with me where you have reached with that. And there is no right or wrong. It's not about saying, oh, I completed the goal, it's done, it's amazing. No, it's about allowing yourself the space to live and dream and see the potential for yourself. And I want to hear how far you've come along, because this is something you should have been doing on a daily basis in your journal, right? The mindset reframe. Every time I ask you to check in, the mindset reframe was specific to that goal. So I just want to do a check-in and see where you are mentally with that. Anybody else have a question or a comment for me? Also share with me how you're feeling physically after the 9 days. The good and the bad and the ugly, all of it, right? It's a process, and it's a process that is it really shows you where you're at, right? If you haven't lost weight, then we know that it's because your liver is exceptionally sluggish, exceptionally filled with toxins. It's going to take some more time. If Aya has lost weight, and a couple of you have lost weight, it means that the liver was ready, and it's ready to let go, and it's ready to heal. So it's going to show you, if some of you are, most of you have not been consuming this amount of fruits and vegetables leading up to this cleanse, and that amount of hydration, your body's going to hold on to that, because that's a very special hydration that you weren't getting from anywhere else. It's hydration that we call cellular hydration. It goes straight into your cells, and with it, it brings live enzymes, live minerals, live vitamins. And if you've been missing that, as most people are, your body's going to hold on to that, because it's not trusting that this is going to be a regular thing. So as it holds on to this hydration, doesn't mean that you haven't lost weight. It means your body's holding on to it's like holding on for dear life for these important nutrients that it was missing before. When the body becomes confident that this isn't another quick fix for you, right? It's not another fast diet. It's not another crash diet, which is, it knows you are in the habit of doing. So it's going to wait, and it's going to see. It's not trusting that you're going to give it all of this hydration on a regular basis. When it trusts that, because you're going to turn this into a lifestyle, it's not a quick fix, then it will release whatever hydration it's been holding on to. So if you haven't lost weight, if you feel like you've gained weight, it's not fat, it's not actual weight, it's the body being super smart and doing what it knows how to do best, which is just take care of itself. And one of the ways it does that is to hold on to what it's been missing. So please be very, very, very patient with it. Julia, I woke with bad stomach pain at night. Is this last night, Julia? Or like every night, or when? I have lost 4.5 kilos since your first 9-day free talk, had more energy since the 9-day detox, except for this. So what did you add yesterday, Julie? What was different? What did you do yesterday that was different than the day before? Or on that day, do you remember? Okay, so did you have that with, sometimes it's not necessarily the thing you've added, but what you've added it with. Was it by itself? Did you have it with protein? What did you have maybe a couple of hours before? What did you have a couple of hours after? Aya, my skin isn't getting better. I don't know why. Aya, if you're doing the oil cleansing method, And if you are detoxing, and if you are seeing like a purge, we call it, the skin is purging. So if it's purging and you've got pimples or you've got rashes or anything, that is normal, because your skin is one of your largest detox organs. I don't know if you recall, I told you it took me 6 months. 6 months of, it was literally just a purge, acne, pimples, and then gone after the 6 months. Scaly, same thing. So scaly, that's literally a layer, right? So scaly, if I don't want you to do that, but if it's like scaly, like where you could sort of rub the scales off. So this could be a layer, is literally being like you're like you know how like snakes will kind of flake and scale off their skin and a new one comes out underneath. That's kind of what you're doing now. This could be, Julia, if you have an underlying thyroid issue. If you have an underlying thyroid issue, what we've done now is we have triggered your thyroid to heal. So generally, any kind of scaly skin, anytime, or any kind of dry skin, we're looking at thyroid and we're looking at cellular dehydration. So if it's still in that process right now, that means you're in that healing crisis where it has to get worse before it gets better. Natural exfoliator. So you can get one of those, I don't have it here, an all natural face brush. So I'll put a picture. There is like a tiny brush with like a little handle. It has a little round brush area, and it has to be made of all natural fibers. And what you do in the morning before you do your oil cleansing method is you very gently, because the whole conventional approach to exfoliating is too rough for our skin. Like all of those machines like that exfoliate, or the ones that sort of, microblading, where they like poke your skin, way too rough. Our skin doesn't want that. So all you need is this natural skin brush. And what you do every morning is you just gently, in circular motions, you just rub it across your face like that. And across like very small circular motions, clockwise. I'll put a picture of it. And you do that right before you do your oil cleansing method. If I forget, like anybody who I've told you I'm going to post something on the group, in case I forget, please tag me in a post and just remind me. You're welcome, Julia. Anybody else have a question or a comment for me today? Patience, ladies, patience. It's been, today's day what? 9, 10, 11, 12? 12 days, ladies, 12 days of eating in a way where you're going to reverse minimum, for most of us here, minimum 40 years, right? 12 days versus 40 years. We need a little bit of perspective, right? Like I said, it's not going to take you the same amount of time to undo, but it's also not all going to be undone in 12 days. We're just starting. You're just getting into the habit of healing. Okay, ladies, with that, I will let you go. I will see you Wednesday, same time. Come with a yoga mat, or just if you don't have a yoga mat, like anything that you can perform the yoga moves on comfortably. I will find out exactly how long the class will be, and in case she needs you to bring anything else, but I can't imagine it being more than a yoga mat and a towel. But I will let you know, and I will see you Wednesday, ladies. We're all going to do this yoga class together. You don't have to put your cameras on if you don't want to, but I'm not teaching that day. I'm just going to introduce her, and then I'm doing the class with you. And then next Monday is when we will have our next call together. All right. Thank you, ladies. Have a great evening.